Hey guys, how you doing? Underdeveloped here, and this week is gonna be a special week. Well, if you're a superhero fan like me, then you must know that the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League will be coming out this week. So, in preparation for that, he's not excited for it as much as I am because I have a lot of faith in a lot of hope in DC. I want them to thrive. I think they just had not a good go around because they try to rush it too much. They wanted to catch up with like the success of like the Marvel movies instead of actually doing what they did which was build up their single characters and have them have their own standalone movies and then put them together. But they kind of rushed everything.
Like, everything you said is true, but I also want to add that I just don't like Zack Snyder as a director. I just don't like his movies, in general. Like,
that's fair.
I just saw Justice League, and I have to say, Ben Affleck is the worst Batman solely because he saved Ezra Miller's life. That's how much I hated Ezra
What's wrong with Ezra Miller?
He's obnoxious.
I think that's really direction. Because he is a good actor. I've seen him. He is good and stuff. But I think they were trying to go for that quirky Barry Allen kind of thing. But if you know him for comics, that's not how he is as a person. Yeah, so they kind of screwed the pooch on that one.
Yeah, I feel like everyone in that movie is just horribly mischaracterized. I mean, not mischaracterized, mischaracterized. Like, the characterization was just awful.
With this movie this was pretty much like hemorrhage. This was kind of like parroting off of like a dying franchise already because BVS was a flop. Unfortunately, Zack Snyder's daughter, committed suicide, or something to that effect, which was very terrible.
Yeah,
so he had to leave the film, and then he brought in Joss Whedon. They slashed the film's runtime in like a whole hour and change, making it 2 hours long. Everything just went wrong in the production level. They did a bunch of reshoots. Henry Cavill was filming MI7, so he had the CGI remove this mustache and look like an idiot for half the film.
To be fair, it looked fine when he wasn't talking. When he wasn't talking, it actually didn't look bad. But when he was talking, oh my god, it did.
It showed, but it still looked bad to me. So going into this, the expectations wasn't that high. They have a different color tone. They kind of adopt this more Arkham video game kind of like look. CG look, especially like in the opening scene with Batman. I felt like an Arkham game, the way that everything looked.
Sometimes it does, but then sometimes like after Superman comes back, all of a sudden it looks like a Marvel movie kind of like the really bright colors. I'm like, you have all these.
Joss Whedon made it, so
I know, but you have all these really contrasting different color palettes. It just doesn't match.
And yeah, I was disappointed. It was just boring, lame ass looking villain. It's tiresome. I'm like it's like the throwaway villain to be honest.
He really did feel that way, and it's because
Stupid plot devices.
The thing is like with Steppenwolf, like we only saw him a handful of times in the movie, and almost all of them are fight scenes. We didn't really get any chance to really
no story development. And in Zack Snyder's version, we hear that there is actually a story behind his plan. He has motives, and he has and Darkseid is in this, so they kind of have a unique relationship.
Oh, good.
You know what I mean?
Oh, good, because like I feel like there was like the illusion of like a motive in the
dude, it's 2 hours. They cut like hour. They cut over an hour and change of stuff. Plus extra reshoots. So it's like, there's so much missing from this film, and that film felt that. If the film felt gutted, and rushed. Like it wasn't a complete movie to me.
Yeah, like. Really, my biggest problem is that it just felt really unfocused.
Yeah, extremely
because
unfocused.
because it's like. Oh, now we're gonna have this one scene where Batman's recruiting people. Yeah, all right, cool.
Once he has a beard, next scene he doesn't.
All right, we go from Batman is brooding. Now Aquaman is brooding. Now Cyborg is brooding.
Bunch of brooding.
Yeah, a bunch of brooding. Now Superman is off on a farm somewhere. Like it feels like a lot of the scene placement is just kind of random at parts of the movie. It's very important the way you structure a story, okay? Because that tells you where the story's going. Like, you really get a sense that you're progressing as the story progresses. But when you have scenes laid haphazardly across the timeline, what you're doing is that you're just preventing your audience from feeling that journey of progression. They don't feel like anything's progressing. They just feel like they're flowing through the motions and not in a very satisfying way because you're not really feeling the tension that should be there. especially when it's like an end of the world kind of story, which is admittedly pretty overdone at this point.
Yeah.
But still, with the end of the world comes high stakes, and you just don't feel the stakes because you don't feel any progression. It's just stuff randomly happens in the movie. Like,
and then to make matters worse, we have no real origin films before these. Other than just Superman.
This was like a lot. There were a lot. Oh no, I think Wonder Woman was before this too.
Oh yeah, and with Wonder Woman, but it was only two characters you cared somewhat about. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why the only ones you care about, because those are the only ones that are pre-established.
Exactly.
I thought Jason Momoa's Aquaman was alright in this movie, but I felt like this was a horrible introduction for him.
Yeah, it was not the best at all. You know, we don't know nothing about these characters. Mm-hmm. You know, we have to establish these people as their own identity,
and that just kills the pacing of this movie.
Exactly, because
that's a big reason why it feels so unfocused. Because
we know nothing about Barry, we know nothing about Cyborg, but they have these important and integral characters. You know what I'm saying? And here we don't care about these guys because we don't know them. Mm-hmm. They're strangers. You know, and you have to. And if we make a movie like this, you have to establish their own personal journey.
Like, I feel like
you can celebrate what this movie is, which is all these big personalities coming together in one.
Thing is, I feel like in a movie like this, like it would really benefit them if they like established groups of characters at a time instead of just one character at a time. Because that way you're cutting your time in half and doing just as much work.
Exactly.
Yeah, it would give you a much more focused product. Like,
and if they did that before this movie, they could do that because they could.
If they give them their own origin stories, that would be even better. Like hell, I think a Cyborg origin story movie would have actually been pretty interesting.
They was planning it, but they moving it, but they plan to move it after Justice League,
which is dumb.
They hoping that the success of Justice League was shining light on the other super solo movies,
which is so like, stupid. That's such ass backwards thinking.
Yeah, exactly. You have to get people invested in.
Like, why should I be invested in a team of people I don't give a shit about? Yeah. There are like a handful of funny moments, but most of their actual attempts of humor are just obnoxious. Especially
tired.
Especially like 90% of the shit that Ezra Miller has to say. I just want him to shut up. Just
they kind of went with the quirky Flash thing.
They went way too hard on it. Like,
if I wasn't buying it. He's not like that. You know, to me, it was very lackluster from Act 1 to Act 3. Shitty climax, boring villain.
Shitty dialogue. Oh my
stupid
god.
Dialogue, stupid bad effects.
Like, yeah, like
it was a failure.
I swear, like, the actual CG looks like it would. I've seen PS3 games look better than this. The PlayStation 3 came out like 12 years before this movie.
Yep.
Why? Why does it look like... Oh my god, why does it look like this? It looks especially weird when you see Steppenwolf, like, actually talk. Because it looks like you're taking this really old video game and just rotoscoping it to match a person's lips, and it's just surreal.
But they redefined him, though, and he looks very different, so.
Yeah, I have seen what he looks like in the trailer we reacted to on this channel, by the way, so if you're interested, check that out. But hey...
Link should be at the end of the video. This movie is not great. I gave it like a 1.6 out of 4. You know.
Wow. I thought you were going to go harsher, to be honest.
1.6 is pretty fucking low.
I was going to give it 0.9.
Praying for a Snyder Cut to see if the Snyder Cut doesn't disappoint us like this one did. So, but saying that, have a good one, y'all. Nick, you can close it out.
Yeah.
Anything else left to say?
Yes. Just watch better shit, man. Just avoid this. If you've been lucky enough not to see this version of the movie, then avoid it at all costs. I mean, I don't have the highest hopes for Snyder Cut, but it can't be worse than this. And with that being said, please feel free to like the video if you enjoyed your time here. Feel free to subscribe and watch all the other videos we have in our backlog, because trust me, we have quite a few there. We'll see you all next time.
You've been warned.